Okay, had a little video issue here, and we dumped some contracts right up here. Just because we're not real confident about this move. We're getting over. Uh, well, let me explain this. All right, on SPY. All right, because we watch SPY. We were overbought at a lower high. That's very indicative of being in a short. This was the high. We're at a lower high here and we're overbought again. So that indicates at least a temporary short. Then we move down here to this low. Good time to go long, and we didn't quite get in where we needed to. Now we come back up. We're in an overbought condition again. And the only way for us to know whether or not we're really in a long is to get oversold at a higher low. So for that reason, we bailed on some of our position. We're still long, but we're not at a good price. We're only long at 65. And we got overbought again here at a higher high here, higher high here. And now we're coming down. And the only way we're really going to be able to tell from the indicator whether we are in fact, a long trend is to get oversold at a higher low. So that's what we're looking for here. All of our other indicators are still they're just somewhat in a questionable situation. This is our longest trend indicator. The red here is generally viewed as long. But as this indicator begins to drop as we move higher, it's showing that we have divergence at the top as we get into higher highs. And for that reason, unless something else here turns, if this is continuing to move down and we get into a new high, well, then what will happen is we'll have a good basis for a short. So we're just hoping that this is going to push up into a new high for the morning. Same is true here. This was a major divergence in here. Good reason to come down. Now it's come down to a lower level. It's not really in an oversold condition down here, but it's still moving. The general direction is still moving down. This is yet to turn. This indicator is yet to turn. It's going to have to go all the way up for that to turn, because this takes about a 3-point move in order for that to turn. So it's got to get up to 67.75. Now, wait a second here. It's already been there. Well, there it is. It is turning. Okay. It's usually about a 3-point move to turn this. So there we have it. We're in an oversold condition. See the buy signals here. That's because this hit 0 and we're at a higher low. Okay, we're at a higher low right now. That helps us to confirm, yeah, the trend is up. These should be turning. We should be managing to get above 68 on the ES. Okay, good. That's what we were looking for. That's what we were looking for. Now let's go back to the premium. See what it's telling us. Premium, however, is down. It's in a one. Premium is down. We need to see the premium turn here, and it's right about ready to turn. This indicator here is way below this threshold area, and we should be getting, yeah, there it is, 68.25. Okay, so this is turning now. This is a little slow. We're on a 30-second bar here. I think this is maybe a little bit slow. We should be I'm not going to worry about that sell signal. That's what we hope for. Okay, I don't like what I see here. I don't like what I see. This indicates we should be coming down. Unless unless this turns, which it just finally did. I've got to check my settings here. All right, I think that's set up for a 30-second bar. Yeah, that's set up for a 30-second bar. We have 2 of these. And this is set up for a 5-second chart. I just want to look at that. I'm going to look at a 5-second chart. Okay, I've changed over for a 5-second chart, which is too fast. Yeah, I'm not real happy with what we see going on here. Now let me describe to you why I'm saying that. All right, from this low here, just to the right of this line. If you look at where the premium is on this indicator, right? And our pivot point was at a negative 0.08, negative 0.08. We should be going higher, should be getting higher lows on the premium. So when we hit this pivot here, we were at 23. We're at 23 at that pivot. We're at a higher low here, oops, right there. It's a higher low right there, but we dropped, the premium dropped. It shouldn't have. It shouldn't have. We should have been at a higher low. We should have been above 23. We were down at 14. That's not good. All right. Now we're still in an uptrend, and we're still. It looks like we're now going to shoot up and test the high at 69.25, which is here. So we're long, and that's where we expected to be and where we expect to go. Is up to about 70.25. And we're not too far away from that. And when we get to 70.25, which looks like we're about to push right up to, we can anticipate that profits will be taken. So as we are now at a point where we can check the IB, the initial balance calculation tells us that 72 is the target for the first standard deviation. Okay, we just hit 70.25. We just hit 70.25. So conservatively, we could take profits right now. We could take profits right now because we may or may not make it up to that level. But 72 is I'll say 71.75 is the initial balance calculation. And we're still moving up. But remembering there's an unsatisfied premium low, this is going to likely short. And I think we're going to go ahead and start to take some money off of the table here. I'm just not real confident about this. So let's go back to this screen. No, that's not the screen we want. Let's go over to this screen. All right, we took some profits there. Now we're going to set up for some profit taking right up here at the high. Nice profit going on right now. Okay, we are out of our position completely with a nice profit. And we made it all the way up to the IB. There's no indication on this chart that we are ready to short. And the only real way that we're going to know that is to come back, get down, and take a look at the ES and the premium. Okay, so what do we see? I'm going to change this back to a 15-second chart. I'm not getting anything out of this that is all that helpful. Okay, we're at 72. Premium is continuing to move higher and higher still at 72.50. There's no divergence here on the moving average. We're beginning to see a little bit of it here, but this is actually just going to turn. It's going to push this even higher. So what I really now want to look at, I want to look at the highs. I want to see if there's divergence in the highs. So while I can use the current setting on our indicator on this moving average, and I love the moving average. It's a great resource. Sometimes what I'll do to get a real close look at the highs, I'll switch the series and I'll set this to high. So it's now looking at the highs rather than the median price of the bar. So this will shift up, and what I would look for in a short is for this to first of all turn, come back down, and then move up once again to a higher high but a lower high on the ES. That would give me a reason to take a short. So for example, when we look at this high over here, right in here, and look at where the premium was. In fact, let's use our indicator to tell us more specifically where this was. Okay, I'm going to have to change that over to something a little shorter. Hold that thought. Okay, so the pivot bar here, premium was at 128. So that was slightly lower than this new high on the premium. But now that we have moved higher than this price here, we should also be higher on the premium as we move into these new highs. We should be higher than that level. So I'm going to extend this over, and as we moved higher, we only barely made it to a new high over here, and you can see that right there. This bar right here on the premium right there. We hit 72, pardon me, 73 right there. We were at a higher high. We did not pivot yet. Then we moved to a new high right there, 73.25, 73.25, and we are below that level. All right, we're just a little bit below that level. And we can read that All right, premium was at 127. That's just a little bit lower. 126, 127, then 103, 103. So there was a divergence on the premium at that level. Hence, as you can see, we're dropping a bit. But what we really want to see is this move up again, test that high, or go higher, but be at a lower high on the premium. And that would indicate a good reason to anticipate a short. Now this setting here is set up for a 5-second bar. This is too fast. Okay, let me rephrase that. These settings here are too long. This is set up for a 5-second bar. We need to shift this over. There we go. All right, so there's the change. Now we're heading back up again. And we really haven't dropped much. Premium has not really dropped much. All right, shift at 94.20. We're now down at 80. And we're back up at a new high, or an equal high. Again, look at the numbers here. The JMA3 is at 94.20, right before the drop. Now we're over here, and it's at 80.16 at that last high. And look at where the premium is. Premium is much lower as well. So the question is there any good reason to short this right now? Is there any good reason to short this? The premium indicates that there's actually a good reason to short this, but what we usually want to see happen here is we hit a new high, which we just hit at 73.50. That's a new high. And we've got a sell signal going on here on SPY. Okay. So let's just take a look at that. We may be wasting our time talking here instead of acting. But this is all overbought. And we're definitely at a lower high here. So it's worth trying to get a little bit out of this. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and just jump in here on a short, see if we don't manage to come down. And we could come down quite a bit, and there's a strong reason for that, which I'm going to show you now. Okay, let's get the chart here. Okay. Oops. See the volume in here? There's very, very little volume showing up in here. This is an area that needs to be repaired. We need to get some contracts in here to repair this level of very, very low volume. Now you can see the area of low volume on what is called a volume matrix, which is over here. This calculates the actual amount of volume at every tick. And you see down here, there's very little volume. Let's get that back. 1,300 shares, 5,200 shares. This is an area that needs to be repaired. So we will likely see, the market come back, take a short, start to move down and repair that area at 86.95, 286.95 right here. Okay, so that's a good reason to anticipate a short. And this particular chart shows us all of this, all of the profile information. And we're way above where we need to be. And let's look at this as well. And you see, you can't hardly see these bars, and that's only because I've set it up so that you can't. But we've got the same situation going on here. Very low volume in here. All of that needs to be repaired. Okay, and so that means that this is going to have to come down to under 70 in order to repair that. So another good reason to take a short, because that area needs to get repaired. So we should see this thing drop, not directly, but it should come down. It's going to take a little while for it to get there. But right in here at 69.25, it's got to move down there to repair that level. 69.75 is even lower. So that definitely has to be repaired. So what you might do is take a short and hold it down to 69.75 because you know that's got to get hit. 69.75. Let me tell you why that number is so clear. 69.75. This area of low volume, 378 contracts at that price. That's not enough. That'll get repaired. So we're going to put this on pause now, and we're just going to wait until that happens. And before I do that, let me look one more time at our premium as to where we were at up here. Okay, all right, so this pushed higher. All right, 128 here. Higher high at 110, that was divergent. We went a little bit higher, went up to 151. That would tend to suggest It really would. It would tend to suggest that this that price is going to get tested. But when we look at it from the standpoint of the averages, we were at a lower high when we hit this. So again, we went as high as 94.20. And then we were way down here at 77 on the average. So that's exactly the way we expected this to look for a short. That, however, that bump up at 151 is a little suspicious. We should have been lower. But at least we were lower than the new high set over here, because that new high was at 156. This was not a new high at 151, so it was divergent from that standpoint, but at a much lower average as well. So yeah, you could short that. You could short it. Now we're short, but we're not short at a very good price. We're talking rather than trading. But look for this thing to drop down to that level at 69.75 at least. There's nothing on the premium other than that low way back here, way back earlier in the day, I should say. This was a new low. Okay, had a little divergent on the next bar, but that was a new low. So we could be hitting a new low for the day before we're all done. It's hard to say. So anyway, we're going to pause. We're going to come back after we see this thing drop. I just want to take a moment to point something out. You see how the market dropped to this low here at 28.70.75, okay, right there. See where that is on the volume profile? That's a low volume node. Okay, and you see how it's spending some time filling in the volume at this price at 72. Okay, it's repairing that. We're getting more volume in here, and the same was true here. We went down here, and there had been historically, and this is the key, historically little activity there. So as the market moves down to that price, if there's not much activity there, it's going to go back up. It's going to repair another area. It doesn't like to go to where there's been little activity, because why would you? If the rest of the market hasn't spent much time at that price, there's little value there. Yet at the same time, we know that the market tends to gravitate toward those prices to repair, as they say, repair that area. So that's what we saw happen here. It comes down to the first area of low volume, begins to repair that, kicks back up, plays, fixes some of the other areas of volume, finds value, comes back down, and tries to repair this area. So that's why we say this has got to get hit. It's got to get hit, because the value area, and here's another way of looking at it, the VWAP is down here at 66.75. To get there, it's got to pass through 69.75, obviously. To get to the point of control, it's got to pass through that area. So that's another reason why we can say, yeah, that'll get repaired. So to get from where it is now to the point of control, or the true upper value area, let's take a look at where that is. Let's see. Yeah, the upper value area is at 68.75, so obviously it has to get below 69.25 in order to do that. So we were overbought over here at a lower high, got into a lower area here. We're back up to an overbought condition at a lower high again. We're just below this line, and maybe we'll stay there. Hard to say unless we look at the premium. But this is oftentimes when this particular indicator gets to an oversold condition like it does here, that's a pretty good reason to expect that you need to look at taking profits and look at where that that level is here. Big divergence here, definite low here, oversold there. All right, so yeah, it's going to go back up. So that would have been an area to take a little money off of the table insofar as the short is concerned, and then try to get back in to a short. And we're very close to being in that position right now. Let's go ahead and take a look at the premium. "15-second chart." Real tough to say, but we could go all the way back up and test 74.75. All right, we're getting some divergence. Now that sell signal here is referring to the situation right here. Pardon me, right here. Let me just show you that. We set up the alert so that when FastK hits a value of 1, it gives us a sell signal. That's what the code is telling us. It does not mean that all of the conditions that we want to see take place are occurring, because we want to look at the premium in order for us to know that. And this indicator here is not really at the point of being overbought. It is on let's see here. There we are. Yeah, we've moved a little higher on the premium. So keeping in mind 87.37, and we're at 83. Okay, we're not quite there. We're at a lower high. Yeah, it looks to me like we're going to go ahead and test 74.75. We just hit a new high on the premium, I think. Oh, no, we didn't. We didn't. No, the new high was at 156, which was over here. That was 151. That's only 144. Okay. So we just took our chances and jumped in for a long trade up to test that new high for the morning. We're going to get out at the high as well. We've got a bunch of contracts going up here because it's a real high probability trade. I'll come back. Now, incidentally, 71.75, which is what we just hit here, that was an area of lower volume. It filled in that area. This, the volume, and I wish I had been recording this particular screen at the time, was an area of low volume. We hit it again. It's probably going to drop a little bit further, because when we look at this low area of volume, which is right there at the moment, okay, that's the area of low volume on SPY. Okay, so it's trying to repair this, which corresponds to 71.75 over here. So it comes back down, futzes around there, fills in some volume, and if we're in an oversold condition there, then we can expect a potential bounce. So now the next area of low volume on SPY is right here. And then below that, it's right here. So it just depends on whether we're already in an oversold condition and whether the premium is beginning to turn up, whether that's going to change. Now it appears as if it's going to do just that. So we didn't quite make it up. Didn't quite make it up to the top. It came back down, and hopefully now it'll shoot back up and test that high. Okay, so now we're coming right back up. We just did 74.50. Looks like we're going to test the 74.75 level that we had hoped for. And now we'll take some profits. Now here we have a kind of an interesting situation going on. You see how we dropped on the premium, see how low this indicator is, and see where the lows of the Spoos are. This has got to turn, okay? As it turns, it's going to push this higher. There it goes. There's a go. Here we should go all the way up to 74.75 now. There we go. And broke right through it, went all the way up to 75.75. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, pushed right through there. Oh, that was beautiful. All right, so we're all out on that, and we've moved higher. So we're way above that level. We're at 76.50, went all the way up to 76.50, which shoots through the second standard deviation mark up here. So it looks like we're not going to be heading back down to a new low. We're too, well, it's not that we're too late, but chances are that's that's as far as we want to play around with this market today. Because if it goes much higher, this thing is going to hit a new. We could be hitting a new high for the century today. Because keeping in mind that the high for the year, it's right here, high for the year is right up here at 28.8475. Pardon me, 87, 25, 28.8725. Okay. All right, where is that number? Okay, there it is. Chart was too low. 28.8725. It is not inconceivable that we could hit that today. It'd be a heck of a move, but yeah, sometimes Fridays work that way. Okay, so that's as far as we're going to take this video because we're out of time. But hopefully you learned something from the analysis of the market today. And this is what it's all about. If you know how to read it, and it takes a while, but it can be done. If you're living in Australia, that's a different story. My brain does not work at 11 o'clock at night. But hopefully this is of some help to you so that you can make a decision as to where to go from here. I'm Rod Kusanen, Spooman for Risk.